remembering those who died in pursuit of democracy. In the centre of Taipei, hundreds gather to commemorate the 36th anniversary of Tiananmen Square, also known by its date, June 4th. That day, a democracy movement in China was brutally oppressed by Chinese soldiers opening fire on crowds.
我们知道，就是之前这个6·4天安门事件这个事情，其实对整个台湾来说，应该是说对整个中国大陆来说，是一个记忆。那可是经过了这么多年，就是中国共产党这边，他们把这个记忆给抹杀掉了。
就是纪念6·4，然后希望中国有一天可以民主化，因为我认为说民主自由是一个普世价值，那我们应该要去纪念在世界各地为了争取这个价值而牺牲的人们。
我会觉得说6·4算是一个很重要的民主历程，在对我香港还是中国来讲的话，甚至我觉得应该说全世界也应该都是同样的，因为民主自由，然后人权的话，应该都是无分国籍的。
Taiwan is now the only place in the Chinese-speaking world with large public vigils commemorating Tiananmen Square. Every year, hundreds of people gather here in the heart of the capital, Taipei, to mark the anniversary of Beijing's brutal crackdown at Tiananmen Square. It's an event that's taking on added resonance in recent years, as commemorations like this are still taboo in mainland China and now impossible in Hong Kong. For decades, Hong Kong's Victoria Park looked like this on June 4th, with as many as hundreds of thousands of people gathering to mark a date scratched from history just across the border in mainland China. But this year, even holding a white flower meant being taken away by national security police. A new normal here after Beijing cracked down on the once semi-autonomous territory after mass pro-democracy protests. And for the first time in Taiwan, Hong Kongers in exile held their own vigil here.
從香港維多利亞公園走到台北228和平公園，係咪？代表香港人呢，無論佢身處喺邊一個地方，佢都唔會忘記1989年嘅時候共產黨屠殺人民。
Memorials here in Taiwan take place as China ups its pressure over the island nation to accept its claims of sovereignty, sending military boats and planes around the island, but also using so-called grey zone warfare tactics like cyber attacks and disinformation. Organisers and government officials pushing ahead with memorials despite bomb threats for commemorating one of the darkest chapters in modern Chinese history.
It shows Taiwan's value. It shows the difference between Taiwan and China. When people use this kind of a ceremony to memorize the Tiananmen incident, when the international society show this message, it means Chinese government, they also need to know the world is watching them.
For many people here in Taiwan, remembering Tiananmen is not just about the past. It's about the present and future threats to this democracy by China. In a world where authoritarianism is expanding, this island democracy wants to carry the torch, not only for those who died in Beijing nearly 4 decades ago, but for those whose freedom is under threat today. Scott Huang, Hank Xu, Andy Xue and Rick Glauert in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.